As a diehard upland hunter, my free days in the fall are usually spent chasing pointers and flushing dogs through high mountain terrain or working vast rolling prairies covered in sagebrush or CRP. But right in my own backyard are opportunities for waterfowl that are both world-class and otherworldly. To find yourself on a giant marsh, flying on an airboat, the cold seeping into your bones. This is the world of the waterfowl hunter in Utah. And my friends are obsessed. This is a waterfowl hunt unique to just about anywhere else. This is the Great Salt Lake. And this is wild upland. So there's a lot of different opportunities here in Utah where I live to hunt not only upland game, but also waterfowl. And so I don't often go waterfowl hunting just because I'm an uplander, but I get invites from my friends who are crazy hardcore duck hunters. And so my buddy Steve from Camp Chef gave me a call, and his son Aiden had actually drawn a swan tag, which is very unique to Utah. About every 3 years, if you put in, you can draw a swan tag, and it's a really cool hunt. And I've actually never experienced one before. I've just seen them from my friends. I literally didn't recognize you with your beard. Like, I was like, oh no, that's not him, that's not him. How are you, dude?
Good, how are you? Good. Good to see you.
Who's your friend with us?
That is Paul. So he's bringing the other boat so that we have enough room for everyone.
Cool.
Yep. So I'll introduce you here in a second to him.
Yeah, so I am the regional director for Ducks Unlimited here in Utah. Prior to that, I was a career firefighter for 21 years with Salt Lake City, and I retired as a fire captain. And I'm fortunate now to do my true passion, which is ducks.
Are you seeing any swans or no?
No, there's a lot of swans around right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, a lot of swans.
Okay.
So it'll be good.
We're really fortunate in the state of Utah to have a swan hunt. There's, I believe right now, 9 states that can hunt them. So it's a really limited opportunity. And we're really fortunate here in the state of Utah to have a swan hunt.
So according to Chad, swan hunting is mostly done actually in the evening because swans tend to fly in the evening rather than the morning time. So Chad told us that on our way out, we'd stop and cut an invasive species called Phragmites that's here in Utah, and it actually works out perfectly for us because it's a perfect tall plant that is great for blacking in your blind. And so on our way out to where we were gonna hunt, we stopped and cut some frag, and then we got everything ready. And of course, the guy with the swan tag was running a little bit late, so we were able to get everything set up and ready to go so that when Steve and Aiden were able to get to the ramp, we were able to get out there and get set up for swan hunting.
So yeah, we're here in northern Utah on a waterfowl management area. And so what the game plan is right now, since they're probably a good hour late, is that we are gonna run down here. We're gonna get the boat in a spot, get some decoys set up, and literally, like you said, Steve's gonna show up and Aiden's gonna get a hunt. So I gotta figure out how to get on that plan, and yeah, it's gonna be a fun afternoon. So the swans have been moving really good every afternoon. There's been a pretty good duck flight, and it's so much better than upland game hunting. Like I just don't understand why you don't see that.
Like
we'll
my head's gonna explode.
It's gonna explode.
I'm going to be transferred from an upland hunter to a duck hunter after today.
Okay.
So these guys really are hardcore waterfowlers. They know how to get the job done, they know where to go, and they even go to the extremes to get to the good spots. So for this particular swan hunt, we were using mud boats, and the mud boats we would have to actually winch over a dike so that we could get to the other side of where we wanted to hunt on the water. And so it was actually really cool to see because they just have everything set up. They've got, you know, the winches and the batteries and the place to put them on their boat and the PVC pipes to easily pull the boat over the dike, this mud dike. And so these guys are just hardcore. They know what to do and they know how to put us on birds. As an upland hunter, I'm used to loading up my English setter and lab, grabbing my bird vest and shotgun, and getting in an afternoon afield. Quick, simple, I'm hunting before I know it. But the waterfowler lives a very different experience. There are decoys, blinds, the boats, and on and on and on. For me, I just enjoy watching these guys and their dogs do what they do best. We got to get from this pond over to that pond to get to the ideal swan spot. So these guys say we're going to winch a boat over this small little dike. So they act like they've done this before a few times. So as we're waiting for Steve and Aiden, who are running a little bit behind, we were able to get some stuff done that really was vital to a good swan hunt. And one of which was we're in the late season of hunting here in Utah, and it's cold, and with that comes ice. And so ducks and swans don't want to land on ice, so Paul was able to go out with the mud boat and really break up the ice in the spot that we had wanted to hunt so that it would be enticing for the swans to land in our decoys. So we're running mud boats, and on those mud boats were actually blinds that would just pop up from the side, and so we were able to set them up on, on this point along the water where we'd really be hidden from the swans, but it was a good spot where they'd want to land. So we were able to set up the mud boats, get the blinds set up on the boat, put that frag over top, and then Chad set out, we all set out about a spread of, I'd say about 50 decoys of swans so that it made it look like, hey, this is where the swan's hanging out and this is where you want to be. These birds are just giant. They look like 747s in the sky. They make this unique call, and it was really cool because Chad and Paul call the swans with their mouth. They're not using calls. They're able to mimic the sound of these swans just from the use of their mouth, and they sound just like them.
We had a great time out there hunting swans with him. It was fun to see him out there in the marsh, out of his element, really. He was outdoors, bundled up, running his mouth, talking smack as we got into it. It's not gonna be that cold, it's not gonna be that hard.
Still coming, Aiden. Be ready. Get ready. Shoot one, Aiden. Right in the face.
Stand up.
In the face.
Shoot it again. That's all right. You're fine. I think you're just behind him, okay? Newsflash, he got humbled. It was a little cold, it was a little hard, but it was a ton of fun.
I remember my first time trying to hunt wild birds with a camera in my face. Wing shooting can humble any given hunter, and on any given day. Aiden Aiden's a young hunter. You know, he hasn't hunted very often. He's a high school kid. You know, he's got other things that he's doing. He's working, he's hanging out with his friends, so it's not like he gets to hit the field a whole lot. So we're dealing with a young hunter, you know, who feels the pressure a little bit that he has a unique tag and he's got to get it done. And bird hunting is hard. You're trying to hit a flying object through the air that is going a lot faster than you think it's going.
Utah is one of the very few states that even offers a chance at a trumpeter swan. And with opportunities come responsibilities. The trumpeter swan boasts healthy, huntable populations in Utah, but those opportunities are monitored in real time. And unfortunately, this rare and special window has closed.
We have a quota of trumpeter swans. The trumpeter swan is not endangered, but they are worried that the trumpeter swans, they're not threatened, they're not endangered, but they have that quota in place that the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has set with the state of Utah, that if we reach the 20 bird quota, that they will shut the swan season down so that no more trumpeter swans get shot.
Well, unfortunately, after this hunt that evening, we come back to the boat ramp and we find out 20 trumpeters have been shot. They're got to close down the season for the rest of the year. So it was kind of, you know, it really wasn't great. You know, we were like, oh man, and we were bummed, but that's just how it goes here with, you know, hunting swans in Utah. And we had great opportunities and we had a great swan hunt, and that's all we could ask for.
With the window closed on trumpeter swans, our focus moves on to the sport my friends know best. Waterfowl hunting in one of the most unique spots in the lower 48, with a backdrop that is hard to beat.
This is a really unique hunt with Chad and Rob. They bring out their airboats. We go, you know, in the marsh, where it's just an awesome setting. You got the Wasatch Front mountains in the background, and it's just such a unique thing to Utah. You know, I've hunted ducks across the country, and nothing looks like that does by hunting ducks in Utah.
Traditionally, when we run out on airboats, we kind of have a traditional, what we call a traditional teal hunt on the Great Salt Lake. And that's using the black silhouettes, the coffin blinds, and making a big black spread and then just hiding in plain sight in that spread.
That was cold. Cold and windy. Pretty usual for mid-November in Utah, but it's fun, and Chad always puts you in the good spots, so hopefully we'll have a good hunt here in a little bit.
Unfortunately today, with the wind and the ice conditions, it just wasn't there this morning. So we slid up into a little pocket. There was a bunch of mallards up in there, and we were able to capitalize on the birds that did come back today. We'll probably put the decoys right out here in front of us.
Okay.
So probably from the boat to those cattails.
Okay, just throw them out?
Yep.
Okay.
Spoonbill.
Right overhead, right above you, Aiden. Shoot him.
Good shot. Fast and fun. The wind's coming over ahead of us, so the ducks are coming over top, so it's kind of got to be quick on the gun.
You know, one of my favorite things I think with duck hunting is the camaraderie and spending time with friends. Thankfully, nobody I've ever hunted with is perfect. We all miss shots, and we can have fun with that. We can laugh and carry on. We make great shots, we miss easy shots. And that's the fun thing, is just to be out there with friends.
Here in Utah, we're in the Pacific Flyway, which really gives us a big diversity of ducks that come through here. In particular, we're hunting, green-winged teal, mallards, cinnamon teal, just a ton of different species of ducks, and that's what really makes Utah unique, because you never know what you're going to get on a different day.
Wild Upland is brought to you by Purina Pro Plan, nutrition that performs. And by Browning, the best there is. Fiocchi, your upland ammo for every pursuit. Onyx, know where you stand. Lucky Duck, loyalty goes both ways.
At some point each winter, I give in to Steve's ribbing and Chad's stories about the marsh. I bundle up and join them in this almost otherworldly place. And every time I do, I'm drawn a little bit closer into this world.
Hey, shoot that one, shoot that one, shoot it, shoot it, shoot it.
Good girl. I just really love hunting with Steve and Chad, because I feel like there's just such camaraderie between all of us. We're always joking with each other. We're always, making fun of each other, in a fun way. And it's just, we're always laughing, and it's never slow paced with us. And so I really enjoy it because, we'll be duck hunting for a couple hours, but it's just so laid back because, when it hits noontime, we're like, well, time for lunch.
You see that when the boat shows up, it's time to eat. I do work for Camp Chef. It is all about food. And as we've seen in hunting, there's so many things we can't control: the weather, the wind, the birds, the fish. But if at the end of the day the food's not good, that's our fault. And so food, flame, fire, that brings people together. And that's what I love about hunting. You get out here, hunting brings people together. The food during hunting just makes for even better memories and more of camaraderie amongst the hunters and the people you're sharing the blind with.
Every year, Utah grabs a little more hold of me. Every year, it seems more like home.
So I'm not from Utah. I actually am from Ohio, but I moved here as a transplant, and now I call this home, and I love Utah. I can be hunting upland birds in 20 minutes. I can be hunting ducks with my friends in 45 minutes, and that makes Utah really unique. Chad, do you think that duck hunting will always be like this here?
No, unfortunately, this will probably be the last year that we hunt in like this marsh here. Our lake is so low and so on the brink of an ecological disaster that they're actually going to pipe this water to the other side of the causeway. So what we're hunting right now is a flow that comes out of the sewer treatment plant, and that's what this is pretty much fresh water, and you can see the beautiful marsh around us. That's why the ducks are up into here. But they're saying that if we don't get a good winter, that we're on the brink of an ecological disaster. The Great Salt Lake will be so salty that nothing can live in it. The brine shrimp will die, the brine flies will die. There will be no reason for anything to live out there. It'll just be a dead sea. And so they're trying to pump fresh water over to the salty side to try to balance it out. So like this will be the last year. We'll probably be hunting a marsh like this right in this area.
It's really scary because the Great Salt Lake is drying up. We've had terrible droughts the last few years, and that's really affecting the lake. And when the lake dries up, we're gonna lose a whole ecosystem. And so it's a great worry and something that really need to be concerned about and focus on helping to fix, because if not, we're gonna have to leave this valley, and there goes my hunting, and there goes just my lifestyle.
There are no easy answers to the disappearing Great Salt Lake. And this is just one of the stories that gives me pause and makes me want to pray for a solution. But today, I'm just here to soak in the memories with dear old friends, see places only the most dedicated will ever see, and watch these dogs do what they love.
This is always such a fun hunt. I love doing it with Chad and Steve. They're such good friends, and they are such hardcore waterfowlers that they are the dudes to go with. And I love when they give me a call because I love going out in the airboat. It's so unique, and I was so appreciative to experience my first swan hunt. That was so cool to see. These birds are giant. To see them decoy over 7 times, that was just something I'll never forget. You know, I'm an upland hunter to the core, but when these guys call, you know, I switch gears just a little bit just to duck hunt with them, and I'm so appreciative, and I honestly can't wait to do it again.